All right. So the quitting too soon. I've seen entrepreneurs do this where they've quit too soon and they didn't have their business stuff worked out, their behind the scenes stuff worked out. So they had to go back and get a job. And there could be a real feeling of defeat or failure or a hit to your ego, a hit to your pride. We got to let that ish go. That's not real. Listen, you got to do what you got to do to survive capitalism. You got to do what you got to do to pay the bills and to be able to have money for your business. So if you quit too soon and you got to go back and get a job, do not let your pride or your. Are you a new entrepreneur and losing your mind because you want to quit your job so bad and wondering when you can quit it? I grabbed a clip from a YouTube live that I just did where I talked about when to quit your job, how to know when you're ready to quit your job. So you can watch that right now for the 2 questions you need to ask yourself before you even consider quitting your job. But first, hello. If we haven't met yet, my name is Lindsay Johnson, aka The Radical Connector. I'm a consent-based sales coach for new and scaling entrepreneurs who want to figure out how the heck to get themselves in front of the right people, the customers, the clients who are already looking for you with money in hand, and co-create that sales journey together. While you're here, please subscribe to my channel, hit that bell so that you get alerted when I go live or post new videos, and obviously like this video and give me some love in the comments section so the algorithm loves me back and shows this video to more new entrepreneurs who need to know when to quit their jobs. All right, let's get into the replay. First things first, before we get going, throw it in the chat. Tell me, do you love sales or do you hate sales? Do you love the process of selling your brilliance, or would you rather sit in the dentist chair and get a root canal? Tell me in the chat. Let's get into it. Number 1, when to quit your job. Okay. This is a question I get all the time, and it is interesting to see how people's mindsets around having a job, quitting a job as it relates to their entrepreneurial endeavors and their business have shifted over the past 4 years, right? Since the pandemic hit. And many people were laid off. They had to quit. They could not do their job anymore. And so they had all this time on their hands and they started businesses or went in really seriously with their business. My answer hasn't necessarily changed, but it's interesting to see how much more quickly people will leave their jobs for their business. My answer is always going to come down to 2 things. I'll give you the short answer first, and let's get into it. Number 1, you quit your job when your business needs you full time. And number 2, you do not quit your job until you know how to sell. You need to know the step-by-step process that you go through that turns strangers into happy paying customers. If you don't know how to go this, and then I do this, and then I do this, and then I have customers. If you don't know that backwards and forwards, if you don't have total confidence that you can walk out that door or hop online and within a week or 2 or 3, however long your sales process takes, you can have clients and customers, you're not ready to quit your job. Remember that having a business is not the same as having a job. You know, you might have a skill set you're really good at, or even something that you are maybe selling on behalf of another company. Maybe you're a salesperson somewhere and you're selling a product or a service, or you are having some sort of skill set and you're hired by a company to do the skill set. And in a lot of ways, you are a practitioner, right? You are an expert at doing the thing that you do. You're very, very good at it. You can definitely turn that into a business, but you have to remember that it's your company, your boss, whatever, that's doing the business development, that's bringing the customers and clients in that you're then working for or servicing or supporting in some way. But once you become business owner, you not only are a practitioner, you're the person who also has to bring in the new business. And so if you don't know this component, you need to take the time to learn that. And those are skills. You can learn those. But I do not recommend just starting a job and quitting like that if you do not have at least a 12-month runway of money saved up to pay your bills and living expenses, and then also invest in your business, or have a very supportive partner, spouse, friend, family member who is funding you. Having some money somewhere, I just don't recommend it because it takes time to learn the skills of business development, of marketing and sales. It takes time to get out there and put yourself out there and figure out what works and what doesn't. It takes time for people to say yes to buying from you, right? And so when we put that level of pressure on ourselves that our baby business has to pay not only for itself, because a business costs money, not just in things like subscriptions and platforms and equipment, but in things like going to networking events, traveling for different I don't know, events and things like that. Like they're, going for business lunches. A business costs money, but then you're also putting pressure on your business to then somehow pay your mortgage, your rent, your grocery bill, your gas bill, your car payment. You can't do that to a new business. You can't do that to yourself. You need to protect your little baby, right? You wouldn't send your baby out to work for you, right? You got to protect it. So you want your job to pay your bills. You want your job to be able to put that money into your business until your business can start to do that. So if you don't have a source of money coming in, do not quit your job. I will say that if you are in a place of like a really toxic work environment, a really unhealthy work environment, or your job is taking so much of you that you have nothing left for your business, you might want to think about getting into something else. One of the things that I did when I started my business is I fell into nannying. It was so weird. I essentially was like on Craigslist because I don't know, it was a while ago. And I was like, hey, are you a busy family who needs help around the house? I'm starting a business. I've got some free time. Let me support you while I get my own thing running. I got so many responses and emails and like so many. Turns out that's called a nanny. I don't know. I guess that's the gift of being great at copywriting. Like you can really just put it out there and connect. And people were like, yes, 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 yes. And so that's what I did part-time on the side. And then I also sold ads for an online parents publication. So I had like very part-time here, very part-time here. And I minimized my living expenses. Thankfully, I could do that because I was a single person. Well, I'm still a single person, but I'm a single person, still living in Toronto at the time, very expensive city. But I was able to reduce my lifestyle, my living expenses, and then have these part-time jobs. So it paid the bills. It gave me enough to put into my business, and it let me get some traction. And I wasn't exhausted, and I wasn't giving the best of myself to a company. Right? When you're like, okay, my future is my business. I'm going to make something incredible of this, and I'm going to take this like so far. If you know that's your future, what you do to pay your bills, who cares? Right? As long as you feel safe, as long as you feel good, and you've got time and you've got money for your business, who cares? So for me, I part-time nannied and did ad sales. It was chill. It was awesome. It was actually a lot of fun. My job was like going to take the kids to see movies and doing laundry. Like my job was awesome. Right? And then I had a lot of time left over for my business. So I say that to say, if you have to leave your job, it could be because it's toxic. It could be is because you're burnt out. It could be because you have no time and energy for your business. Then you might want to think about getting something else that's easier, maybe even part-time. I don't know your living situation. I don't know your money situation. What I know is do not think that you can quit and then just instantly be making money. I've been doing this well over 20 years, and the entrepreneurs have this weird number in their head, 6 months, where they think I can start a business, get it registered, make a website, and with 6 months, I'll be rolling in the dough. Most entrepreneurs aren't even past the like fear of having a sales call, aren't even past the fear of networking and putting themselves out there, right? There's so much personal growth that's going to come from the entrepreneurial journey. It is not a 6-month thing. The caveat to that might be if you have a huge network, you have a ton of skills, you have a lot of the infrastructure already set up, and you literally just take yourself out of a job and into a company that's literally plug and play, let's go. That is a thing. That's a thing where you like, it will take me no time to go out to my network and, get these consulting clients or get these investors for my new tech company or whatever, right? That happens. Absolutely. That's not most entrepreneurs, first time entrepreneurs experiences. It's just not. And so I just don't believe in putting that level of pressure on yourself and on your business. You cannot build your business when you have no money, when you cannot pay your bills. You can't. The stress will consume you. It will burn you down. The other thing is, I see entrepreneurs do this all the time. They have a goal of building their business to the point of quitting their job. So that's what they do. I only have to make this much in my business and I can quit my job. And so they have their first 5K month or the first 10K month in their business, which fan-friggin-tastic, like hell yeah. But then they quit their jobs, and they've only thought about their business goals or strategies or action plans or people in the funnel in the pipeline to that point. And so then they quit their job, and I also see them crash and burn because they haven't thought about what's next. They haven't thought of the long-term trajectory of their business. Also, anybody can make 10K in a month in their business. I want to know if you can do it 6 months in a row. When you can do it 6 months in a row, okay, let's talk, right? Or at least 5K. Most people can get by on 5K a month, So these are just things to consider. I want you, as I said, this goes back to my answer number one. when your business requires you full time. When I was able to leave or decided to leave was that when I hit that point of I can't do this anymore. My business needs me. I'm having fun. This is so much fun, but I have to end it because my business now officially needs me. I need these extra, 5, 6 hours in my day to give to my business. Right. And I mean, here's the thing. Was I earning enough income in my business? Not quite. I was close, but not quite. But I knew how to sell. And I knew that with those extra 6 hours of focused work on what to do, I could get there. So that's what I'm saying. You need to have a plan. It's not just to quit. What is my plan beyond that? Right. And then do I know exactly how I'm filling my time? Right? So that is my answer to when to quit your job: when your business needs you and when you know how to sell, when you know exactly what to do to go out and get customers, clients, and you can do it quickly. I would love to hear in the comments if you know how to get customers and clients. Do you know your step by step? When I do this, then this, then this, boom, right? And that could be online or in real life, in person. Also, I've, tell me in the comments if you quit too soon. Was a little nudge I gave myself to ask you, because I do know a lot of entrepreneurs who quit too soon and then they go back to work because they have to. And there's this sense of, hang on, you'll have to forgive me. I was doing this really fun kettlebell swing ladder thing challenge on TikTok, and it's so much fun. But I tweaked my back. I was looking at I was doing it with another fitness friend, and I was looking at the camera to look at her. And as I was swinging my kettlebell down, I looked down and I just killed my back. So it's doing fine, but it's a little, I'm going to like adjust. It's a little bit twingy, a little bit twingy. All right. So the quitting too soon. I've seen entrepreneurs do this where they've quit too soon and they didn't have their business stuff worked out. Their behind the scenes stuff worked out. We're going to talk about that in just a minute, what I mean by behind the scenes stuff. And so they had to go back and get a job. And there could be a real feeling of defeat or failure or a hit to your ego, a hit to your pride. We got to let that ish go. That's not real. Listen, you got to do what you got to do to survive capitalism. You got to do what you got to do to pay the bills and to be able to have money for your business. So if you quit too soon and you got to go back and get a job, do not let your pride or your ego or any of that get in the way. You got to pay the bills because whatever you're doing with your business, we need it. And so if you can't pay your bills, if you're so stressed out, none of that matters, right? Do what you got to do to pay your bills. If that means going back to a job, do that and take that as a lesson, something that you will one day share from the stage with other people. Here's what I learned about quitting too soon. Here's why it's important to have some sort of financial stability when you're getting your business going. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Now that you have a bit more insight into when to quit your job or when not to quit your job, are you looking for more support around sales, specifically consent-based selling? I have a couple more videos for you to check out. Keep improving the way that you market and sell in a way that feels good for both you and your customers. And remember, entrepreneurs, consent is sexy, especially in sales.